Friends, Romans, and Patriots, lend me your ears and strap on your tinfoil hats because it is time for the Gay Frog Chat. The Gay Frog Chat is a weekly panel discussion where we go chin deep into a different conspiracy. This week, we're just going to be doing a couple of general topics, but kind of based around the idea that my rights do not care about your feelings. That was kind of a sentiment that I was coming to when looking at liberal arguments today on the internet about why they should come after our guns, and this thing happened with guns, and that thing happened with guns, and why should my rights? Why should my rights trump your safety when you're out and your children's safety when they're at school? And I forget the quote. It was something along those lines, and it kind of just set me off. And I'm like, God fucking damn it. Here's the thing. My rights don't care about your feelings. And no gun that I have has ever been used to hurt anybody, except for my thumb one time. And there was that accident that one day when it was hot outside. But other than that, yeah, like my guns have never... Seriously, though, they haven't never hurt anybody. And like there's a whole safe full of them, right? Like all of these scary, dangerous guns that, like no one's supposed to have because America's no longer a free country if these people have their fucking way and we can't let them. And a couple of stories that we're going to get into here. Anyway, how's it going, everybody? Oh, camera angle. Aha. Tonight we're joined by an angry platypus. How do you do, Mr. Angry Platypus?
Hey, all right. I'll be the first to say I can't count and say that my guns have never hurt anyone, because I have a bunch of Soviet surplus firearms that I don't know what their history is.
That's true. I do have a Carcano. That's true.
Same here, but mine also goes into South America, too.
Yeah, so it's like I don't know. Now, my typical scary guns have never hurt anybody, but the ones you don't suspect.
Yeah. The ones that they want banned, they never touch the soul. The other ones... Yeah, they have.
Well, most of the guns that I have, I bought brand new. So I know the complete history on them. There's a few guns that I have that are used, and I had the Moze and I don't anymore. I've got the Carcano, which, who knows what that thing has been used for.
Well, I have a pistol that my grandfather picked up off a German MP during World War II. God only knows what that pistol did, before my grandfather got it. It could have taken American lives. It could have taken, Czech lives. Could have taken, anybody's.
But here's the point, though. Even if it did, right? Even if that was like Adolf Hitler's personal sidearm that he would like give to the guards to go execute people with.
Mm-hmm. It's the person doing it, not the firearm.
In your hands, it's not going to be used for that.
Absolutely
right?
Correct.
So therefore, fuck off.
Yep. Absolutely.
And I'm like, the other thing is like this Department of Pre-Crime that they're trying to come up with, where if you say the wrong thing, then you're going to be associated with this group, which means we're going to have to investigate you because basically, if you listen to that general who was talking about how they really need to understand white rage, and that's why they're learning about critical race theory in the military right now and all this stuff. Did you guys hear that?
Yeah, Millie. That's what the guy's name was.
That is a pretext to a war on terror on domestic people in this country, and that basically means people who refuse to disarm.
That's a war on terror on the American people. Sorry, not just the American people, but the American culture.
Right. Well, it's a war on the American gun owner specifically because they're trying to lump everybody together into this big group that makes... unless you have an out card, and certain people do, but certainly I don't. But yeah, like all lumped together so that you can be labeled, so that you can be the target of something, so that when something happens, they are justified in doing it in the eyes of the people who believe what they say. And they're going to continue to paint the picture the way they want to paint it, and the people who listen to it and don't question are going to continue to listen, and eventually they're going to have to silence voices because they're going to be doing crazy shit, and people are actually going to be like, oh my God, this happened to my neighbor, this happened to the guy down the street, this happened to, Uncle Bob or whoever.
I don't know if you guys have heard the terms DVE or MVE lately. It's things our government came out with in the last week or so. DVE stands for domestic violent extremist. MVE stands for militia violent extremist.
There you go. So now they're defining terms. They're going to expand those terms to incorporate more people. I think that a huge reason why they're pushing for defunding police, and this is another thing that I think too, right? They're trying to get rid of the police. They're trying to defund them and do all this stuff, and then crime's going to go up. So we still need police. So what are we going to do instead? Oh, we'll just get some drones, and we'll get a couple DARPA dogs, and then we can have SWAT teams basically, and then the drones and the DARPA dogs will do their thing, and you'll get a ticket in the mail if you didn't do anything that bad. And if we need to come after you, we've got DARPA dogs with robots and machines and fucking SWAT teams, and yeah, it's not going to be a good time.
Not only that, they're going to defund the police, get rid of, good cops, and then whenever they rehire, they're not going to be rehiring the good cops. They're going to be rehiring people that should not be in that position because that's all that's there. That's all that's hireable or would do that job.
I think that's definitely part of it too. I mean, that happened in Soviet Russia, and that happened in China, in Maoist China, when the Enlightenment happened. How many 100 million people died as a result of the Enlightenment, and how many of those fucking things are kind of a parallel shadow image, mirror image of exactly the fuck what's going on in our country today.
Yep.
And I know that I'm preaching to the choir when I'm saying these things, and the thing is, a couple of years ago, you were an alarmist if you were saying anything like that. Oh, the communists are in the government. I remember learning about, oh, goddamn, what's that guy's name from the 60s? Who blamed everyone for being a communist, and you had to go in front of the fucking panel?
McCarthy?
Yeah, McCarthyism. So McCarthyism became a verb, meaning, it's like a political witch hunt going after some invisible enemy. But then if you actually look into the papers, the McCarthy papers, it turns out there were so many people who were communists back then who infiltrated the government that they were able to use their power in various ways to, subvert the fucking entire investigation and get away with the whole thing.
A lot of them were also in Hollywood.
And that's
still are.
Right, because increasingly, and this is especially true today, no one really trusts the politicians. And increasingly, no one really trusts the media, right? The media at large, the corporate MSNBC, NBC, ABC, Fox News media. And I include Fox News in this. Don't forget, Fox News called Arizona for Biden with 2% of the vote in. So that tells you all you need to know right there. I forgot where I was going. Oh, man. I don't know, man. But communism is coming. That's where I'm going with it. And unless we stand up against it and fight against it and speak out against it and take the slings and arrows, because they're only verbs right now, right? They're only throwing words at you. You're only getting maybe handcuffs slapped on you at worst, and then released a day later with an apology, right? That's kind of how that works. But the parent-teacher association meeting that happened in, I want to say it was Wisconsin or something. I forget. It was Ohio.
It was Virginia.
Oh, that's right. It was Virginia. It was somewhere out east. People were getting arrested in there for speaking out. The entire school board, who, in my opinion, should resign because of the controversy, if nothing else, right? At this point, the controversy has overshadowed whatever decisions that they're going to make about whatever they're doing. So as a sheer fact of like, you are now useless in your position because of this fucking whole controversy that arguably you caused. I don't know. I wasn't there. I get it. Fucking resign. Every single person on that board needs to resign. And they need to be replaced with someone who is voted in by the people who were pissed off at the meeting. And
100% agree.
if that doesn't happen, it just goes to show you even more. Like, hey, there's another level. Even when the people are pissed off, even when they have the majority, even when they rise up and try to have a civil meeting and talk about it, they're silenced, they're shut up. Some of them are arrested. The motion is carried without objection from the people in charge, even though the majority of the people who are there supposedly representing don't want it to happen. You know, like, it's just fucking bullshit. These are the reasons why we have a democratically elected republic, is because sometimes there's little things that need to be decided, and like the people want this or want that. Like, maybe you should listen to them. I don't know, dude. It's getting crazy. What were those terms that you just said?
Oh, it was DVE and MVE.
G2 pens. I went to the store. GVE and MVE.
DVE. Because it's domestic violent extremist. And then the M is militia for the other one.
So if you're part of a militia, now you're on that list 100%. 100%. If you've ever been part of a militia, you're on that list probably. Like if you joined the militia in Colorado 7 years ago to get some rifle training for free, you're on a list. And the question is, what are they going to do with those lists? I'm asking, what do you think they're going to do with those lists?
If they act upon something, like act upon the general public, those lists, the people that have been organized or at least gotten in groups like that, they will be acted upon first.
And I think the way that will come is it'll be like a check, right? They'll come over and they'll knock on your door and they'll say, "Hey, Mr. Honda, we need to talk to you. Step outside, please." And then they're going to fucking arrest you right there on the spot. Maybe not arrest you, but they'll detain you. They'll put you in handcuffs and put you in the backseat of a car while they go through your house, knocking in doors, knocking in fucking walls, like using metal detectors, finding all of your shit, cross-referencing it with every 4473 that you've ever filled out and every 4473 on any gun that you've ever sold to see exactly what you should have, and then cross-referencing that with what they take out of your apartment, because they're not going to let you have it anymore if you're at that point. And then if there's a discrepancy, you're going to jail. If there's something you shouldn't have in there, you're going to jail. If there's like anything untoward going on at all, you're going to jail. If you cooperate with them 100% and everything's kosher, you have a chance of like not going to jail but not having a gun anymore. Because they don't have anything to charge you with. You didn't do a crime. You're just on this list and they're worried about you. Crazy shit. Let's go through the chat a little bit. Back to the top. What if the frogs were gay from the start? Then there wouldn't be any more frogs. There wouldn't be any frogs in the first place. Flashfinger says, I live near Loudon County, where that incident happened with the school, and a lot of people are complaining didn't live in the county and were verifiable Republican plants. I don't know, the speakers that I was hearing were all like, my kid goes here, this is my name. All the people who were speaking, I watched the entire thing until they shut it down. And like the live stream of what they showed, they cut the camera feed as soon as they shut it down. And then the cops, it's like 30 minutes later, the lady finally comes back in, and they're talking about some unrelated issue for 5 minutes and close the meeting. It's actually pretty hilarious watching their version of events. But no, I don't believe that the majority of the people who were there in support of potentially Republican views were Republican. Maybe a few of them were, but I guarantee you the majority of those people in that place had a kid there or whatever it was. They live in the county. They're doing the thing. Their kid goes to school there. They're pissed. Because otherwise, why would you show up? I mean, Republicans have jobs. They have responsibilities. They don't have fucking spare time to show up to like county meetings and scream at people like fucking leftists do. And that's part of the problem, right? It's like whose voices get heard. It's the person who shows up. It's the squeaky wheel that gets the grease. And when they have all the time in the world because they're collecting fucking money from the government dole or whatever it is, right? They don't have to worry about bills ever again because you got your papers figured out, right? Good to go. Cool. Never going to be rich, but you got all the time in the world. Well, that means you can go to all these meetings. You can go to all the protests. You can go to all the riots. You can go to all the fucking looting. You can go to anything that you want to because you have all the time in the world. Me? Bro, I'm working. When I get done with work, I'm going home. If there's some fucking parent-teacher conference that I have to go to, I'll go to it. But I'm not going unless it's my kid, bro. I'm telling you that right now. You ever see the 2 pictures of that whiskey on Discord, says Josh Taylor. Whiskey on Discord. I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. So I guess the answer is no. Jumpy says, well, a good amount of militia already have been infiltrated by the FBI because most of them spew white ethno-state nonsense, especially those that lie in the Northwest and probably deep South. And that's probably true to some extent. And maybe, to be honest, I bet there is some national threat from certain groups of those type people in this country right now because of what's happened in the past couple of months. Do I agree with the full force of the government being aimed at all of us because of those few groups? Hell no. Do I agree with those groups getting investigated? Yeah, I do actually. And if it turns out that they broke the law, I guess it is what it is.
So what if they broke an blatantly unconstitutional law?
Well, then I think there should be a trial, and that should be heard by a court of their peers. And if people like us hear what happened to them and say, like, yeah, they broke the law, but fuck the government because of this, and that they did, you can basically just say not guilty to whatever, and they're not guilty. Like, if you have the balls to stand, and this is another thing, the government holds power over all of us by threat of the use of the judicial system against us. And that's a scary threat. But if every single person in this country charged with anything, from a speeding ticket to a felony, took it to trial court, they'd have to release basically everybody. They'd have to drop charges on basically everybody. Because you have a right to a speedy trial too, right?
Yep. But they don't say what speedy it means.
Yeah, so that's the thing. You have a right to a speedy trial, but I've had friends who a speedy trial was over 2 years. And that entire time you're in jail.
Well, I mean, again, look at what's going on with the people January 6th.
Yeah. So, I mean, I see what you're saying where it's like, you got to fight for it, but at the same time, like, it sucks because people have lives and shit, and it's like, do you fight, for your rights, or do you sit there and, get to see your kids and family instead of sitting behind bars for 5 years or something for some bullshit,
And then even if you are behind 5 years and you do get out, your life's still ruined.
Yeah, your life's still ruined. At the end of the day, all you have is go, well, I fought for it. So it's a tough spot to be in. You know?
A lot of their power comes from people willingly going along. And that is probably the most extreme example is like, hey, you're charged with a crime by the government, facing time, and you're going to fight against it because of principle. Like, that is an extreme example. But there's all kinds of little examples, too. Like the self-enforcement of the mask mandates, right? Like you go out to King Soopers or Walmart or whatever fucking grocery store you have around you. And it's not the police telling you to wear your mask. It's not even the employees most of the time. It's some fucking Karen with a power trip or some fucking Doug who's all upset about like how old he is and how vulnerable he is and he's going to yell at you, not even realizing that they're putting themselves at risk by coming and getting in your face and yelling at you about a mask. Jesus.
Oh, I agree 100%. Yeah.
And that's self-enforcement. The government didn't do that. They just used the media and used their little fucking like social engineering ways to get people to do what they wanted, and that's what they wanted. They wanted the Karens upset, so the Karens would go out and shut the fucking country down. It's amazing how much power Karen has.
The one thing I will say about the mask mandates in the past year is that it really showed how many people are about authoritarianism and tyranny.
Yeah.
Well, what was the thing the left always used to say? They would talk about like Nazis, right, or whatever. They'd be like, I don't agree with these white supremacist asshole piece of shit motherfuckers 1% at all on anything. Fuck them. But I will die to protect their right to say it. What happened to that? What happened to Martin Luther King's I Had a Dream? Judge me not by the color of my skin, but by the content of my character. What happened to that? That's gone.
Well, they realize that if you go by the character, we're actually going to kind of unite because they're not going to divide us. I mean, this whole diversity thing is to separate us and put, one group of people against another. As soon as they do that, and you do enough of that, everyone's so fractured that they're easy. It's conquer and win. I mean, divide and conquer, that's what it is.
Well, the thing is, sorry, I think socioeconomically, people who are diametrically opposed because of ideology that's been espoused upon us and upon them, at this point, we have way more in common than we do with those people who were doing the propagandizing. Like, those people are on a different, they don't even know what a day's work is. Like, their work is different than our work. Their idea of, like, being low on money or being broke is, like, completely like, damn it, I've only got $500,000 in the bank right now. I'm going broke. Fuck you.
I mean, that's a possibility if you usually have $100 million in the bank.
I'm just saying.
500,000. Everything's relative.
That's true, but when you're looking at
that's all first
of people who are banging heads against each other, right? Like, you got like the BLM and you've got like the right wing, like whoever dudes. They all make roughly the same. Like, it's either zero or not that much compared to those people who make like this much. So, anyway, I did want to share this story. Check this out. I don't know if you guys saw this. Laurel Hubbard suffers testicle injury ahead of Tokyo Olympics 2020. Social media users are believing the article of satirical fake news website Babylon Bee. So yeah, New Zealand weightlifter Laurel Hubbard recently became a transgender athlete who will compete at the Olympics after she was named amongst the Kiwi contest of Tokyo 2020. She will be competing in the 87 kilo, blah, 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 blah. So the article titled "Female Weightlifter Suffers Tragic Testicle Injury" was published on June 21st, 2021. 100% totally female weightlifter Laurel Hubbard was forced to bid farewell to her Olympic dreams yesterday after a tragic accident left her severely lacerated testicle.
Wait, did it say 100% female?
Yeah, it's in the 100. So she used to be a he.
Right.
Wasn't good enough in the Olympics to be in the he team, so it's like, fuck it, I'll go to the women's and just say I'm a woman. And because the Olympics is woke, was like, yep, sure thing, and basically has dominated over there. Obviously, we haven't had the Olympics in a while, but like in all the pre-testing, that is like dominating the numbers board because the guy.
Right, but it's saying 100% female. Never was 100% female.
All I'm saying is, like, you know, sometimes you're training for the Olympics and it's really hot, right? And, you know.
This is just
to clean your shotgun.
This is just irony at its greatest because
seriously,
like, it's ridiculous. Crowder did a thing on this. It's ridiculous what the testing is because obviously you would think one of the things they test for is testosterone levels. Well, the testing levels for it is like you only have to register at a certain low testosterone level 1 year. In your whole like 4-year buildup, you only have to register like at the low testosterone level for 1 year. And their version of a low testosterone could be like a high testosterone level for a woman. So it's like, it's really not that hard to hit that number.
So I don't know if you guys heard about this shit. This was in a... God fucking damn it. Jesus Christ. I gotta stop hitting that vape pen. 1 killed, 4 wounded in Aurora shooting. This happened on the Juneteenth celebration, according to police. 1 man was killed, 4 people were injured. It was
Colorado?
114 bullets were fired into a crowd.
Is that in Colorado? Aurora, Colorado?
Yeah.
Bitch.
Dude, no one heard about it. Why? Well, 2 reasons. Happened on Juneteenth. And guess who the shooters were?
I'm going to say not Caucasian.
So they got 50 phone calls to 911 at 4:20 in the morning, 114 shell casings, and the place that it happened at, they're not naming it, right? So I did a little Google searching. This is the
Martin
address.
Luther King Boulevard.
This is the address right here, and it's like, let's look at these places. Okay, you got Pacific Ocean Asian grocery store. I don't think they were meeting there. Oh, we got Shanghai something or other restaurant. No, I don't think that was it. Oh, yeah, Saigon Bistro. No. Oh, let's skip over here. We got a Dollar Tree somewhere. Easy Pawn. No. What about B&B Beauty Supply and Wigs? So obviously this is the place, and what happened was, like, they were having a Juneteenth party, and too many people showed up, so they stopped letting people into the building, and then people were pissed off and outside, and they're saying it was gang related or whatever, but there were like 50 people outside, and they all got shot at.
But here's the thing: they hit what? They hit 4 people. Did you say?
Yeah, 5. 1 died, 4 people injured.
So in total, they hit 5 people out of 114 rounds.
Right.
That's
some good shooting.
That's some. You gotta go back to the range.
Hey, they're qualified for a NYPD.
Jesus, like how?
I don't know. All I know is don't hang out at the B&B Beauty Supply and Wigs at 4:20 in the morning on Juneteenth. It's a bad idea.
I hear that.
Five
I
or
hear
six
that's
other shootings that happened that day too, in a bunch of different other cities and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
like Chicago, Baltimore.
Well,
Like there were several different stories about shit like that happened.
There's the cop somewhere that got shot at. That was like
Yeah, it was
doing the
outside of Flint, I believe.
Yeah, doing like the June. Yeah, outside Flint. Like was directing traffic for a Juneteenth parade, and they decided to shoot at the cop. So he returned fire, and he was a better shot. Like Jesus.
Hello, Matt.
Penis.
How are you, good sir?
Not too bad.
Sorry, I didn't do my
lazy.
chat last night. I got home from work and I just felt like the bottom of a taxi cab floor, you know?
Dude, I've been a lazy piece of shit all weekend. I have not done a fucking productive thing since Friday. Like, nothing. Oh, he just removed himself from the chat. There you go. All right. Welcome. Hold on. Let me change my icon here real quick. We'll fix this. Don't worry. Don't you worry. There we go. All right. Welcome to the Gay Frog Chat. Fucking pieces of shit. Honda 420. Hate every one of you, and you should all unsubscribe. All of you right now.
I hate you too.
I hit a button.
Oh, there we are.
Hey,
Nice.
buddy.
I was covering the show for you.
Thanks.
Rhonda 420. So we were
Thanks
good.
for whatever you said right there.
I just told everybody they're all pieces of shit and they should all unsubscribe.
Yeah, I didn't hear that at all. You son of a bitch, I'm in.
You motherfuckers.
Dude,
I love
the new
guys.
episode. I just watched the new episode of Rick and Morty today. It was fucking good.
Oh, I haven't seen today's episode yet. I saw last week's. I haven't seen today's.
Oh, I didn't know there was another one. Shit.
That show.
Yeah,
was
I only saw
you saw the one with what's his name? Rick's
Not-
nemesis.
Yeah.
His arch nemesis guy.
Yeah,
It's
because there's a new one that comes out
Novelist or
today.
something like that. Yeah.
There's a new one that comes out today. I don't know if it's out yet, but
I don't know. I went back and watched all of last season too, just because. What was your favorite episode last season?
oh fuck, I don't remember. I like the one where Morty gets the stone that guides his future. He's trying to end up with. He becomes like all powerful and shit.
I like the one where he has the remote and he's like that can like push him back in time 10 seconds or like restart his time. It's like the click remote.
Oh yeah.
And he goes through this whole life where he like meets this girl and it gets
Fall
in
in
the
love
plane
and
crash
everything,
and like even through the plane crash he's like, no, I don't want to restart again. So he fights through it and like everything's going on. Then Jerry just picks it up one day and like rewinds his life.
The thing was, like, they reincorporated his life at the end because, like, all of the Mortys that got killed to hit the button, because every time he hit the button, it killed a Morty. There was that part of it, too. So they
Yeah, that's what
integrated
it
it
was.
all. And that chick came back, but it was right when he was jumping into the vat of acid, and so she ran off crying.
The only thing I didn't like about last season was there was no evil Morty. I'm used
There
to
was
seeing
a
evil
flash
Morty
of
show
Evil
up.
Morty,
Yeah, that's true.
but there
Yeah,
wasn't like an evil Morty episode.
That's true. I have a feeling Evil Morty might show up this season.
Isn't he running the Council of Ricks now?
Yeah.
God, do you hear my kids out there? Fucking yelling.
This is why I have a door.
I have a door.
Closed.
It's closed. I don't
And
know.
and here's the thing. Here's a secret. Go to the store. Get yourself a pool noodle. And cut a slit in it. And cut it the length of your door. And then slide it around the door at the bottom. To fill in that gap at the bottom. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? Like you
Better.
take.
Don't have
There's
kids.
room. I don't know if there's room on mine for that.
There was only like, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch under my door, but so I shaved down the pool noodle a little bit on the bottom side, and then just you slide it on the bottom of the door, and it actually works because most of the noise comes from under the door, that space under the door.
So what do you think about Al Gore saying Trump refusing to concede in 2020 refusing to concede 2020 election very damaging to our democracy. That's the quote. I had to read it twice.
I haven't paid attention to anything Al Gore
Well,
said.
seeing as how we don't have a fucking democracy.
Yeah, we're a constitutional republic.
What is the NXIVM?
NXIVM cult.
What is that?
NXIVM cult. It was the one that Allison Mack and some dude created. Actually, Senator Christine Gillibrand, I think it's Christine Gillibrand. She actually has ties to that cult.
Why are there so many like cult people in our government? I think if you've been part of a cult, like you should probably not be in government. Just a thought.
They've turned our government into a cult.
It's true. Well, they did like destroy religion, and I think that people have like a deep need or yearning for like, I don't know, meaning or a religious fucking thread they can play, you know? I don't know what I'm trying to say. You have an instinct for it. And if it's not fulfilled by spirituality or by religion, like organized religion or whatever, then the government can use that and swoop in and fucking tickle that little fucking part of you, you know? Get whatever they want out of you. So, did you hear about the Julian Assange extradition case? How key witnesses lied to get the extradition on him, and how the whole thing should just be dropped, and he spent years in exile in a fucking whatchamacallit, not a prison, but whatever.
The embassy,
it's a prison, not a prison.
Room.
It was effectively prison because he couldn't leave. Because
some
the government
country's
was
embassy.
What's that?
It was some country's embassy.
Embassy, thank you. That was the word I was looking for. It was like Portugal or some shit. Anyway, it doesn't matter because everything that they had on him was bullshit, or at least a significant part of it, to the point where they probably wouldn't have like had an extradition case against him with the actual information without the lies, and hence this is all bullshit. I don't know, and that's like another one. Like Julian Assange, like used to be that the left was a big fan of him, and now they're not. And it used to be that people on the right, like the George Bushes of the world, hated him, and now people on the right want him to be able to be free and actually like provide a service and all that shit. Just funny how it changed. That's all.
Well, a lot of that stuff's changed. It's just like the whole border thing. 10 years ago, it was Republicans who wanted to open a border and Democrats who didn't. So, I mean, they flipped on a lot of stuff.
But just recently, and it feels like no one has a memory for it. Like all these kids coming up who were so passionate about whatever they're passionate about without actually knowing anything or having any history whatsoever. They just accept these things as like, oh, it's the way it's always been or something. I don't know. Like, I don't know what they think about it, but they don't think about it, I think, is the problem. What is this? Nunez? Here, let's pull this up. Communist Chinese influence has infected nearly every sector of corporate America. House Intelligence Committee investigation has found that communist Chinese influence has permeated across nearly every sector of corporate America, including, according to ranking member Devin Nunes. Nunes joined Fox News, blah, blah, blah. So basically what they're saying, like, I don't know, good example. The newest Fast and Furious movie, when the dude was like speaking in Chinese because he said Taiwan, and he had to apologize to the entire Chinese nation. Why? Well, because the people above him, his bosses, get money from the Chinese communists who said like, fuck you, you can't say that. So they said, okay, you got it, we'll apologize, and made him apologize. And that goes from bottom to top. And like you're seeing that in Google, you're seeing that on YouTube, you're seeing like with what we're doing right here, shadow banning and all that stuff. Like that's all because of, in my belief, communist Chinese influence. Like they're perfectly happy with us eating ourselves and fucking with each other and getting pissed off and having these like fake little race wars and bullshit going on. And hey, you should target white people because they're anti-government and they're going to try to overthrow you. Okay, let's get some nukes and F-15s. Like this is where we're at, dude. It's like so ridiculous.
New World power is going to it's going to be China.
Well, I think they're equal to us economically, or at least actually didn't they pass us in the COVID?
I don't think so.
U.S. versus China economy. Images. GDP. Here we go. Okay, so yeah, it's showing them ahead of us. Just ever so slightly. Actually, they've got two estimates for what China's GDP actually is. And one shows them barely above us, and the other shows them like significantly above us. This one shows them passing us in a couple of years, 2025, 2027. So yeah, I mean, any way you look at it, it's close, and it's China growing quicker than us. And
yeah, because aren't we almost at a shrink? Well, they're still growing people-wise, and we're starting to shrink in population.
Well, I mean, if you look at natural-born citizens, I think you're right. I don't know. China's kind of dealing with their one-child policy thing, right? And what they're doing is they're buying girls from North Korea because they don't have enough girls in China. Because there's like 30 million more young Chinese men than women. Because like so many of them killed their daughters. That's crazy to think about. Let's check out the Twitter. Let's listen to Neil deGrasse Tyson for a second. How egocentric of us to think that space aliens who have mastered interstellar travel across the galaxy would give a shit about humans on Earth. God, I can't read tonight. You ever get like too much sleep and you're all like fucking groggy?
Yes.
Do you hear about Brian Stelter having like less than 1 million viewers now? He gets like 650,000. He's like a YouTube channel in effect. Like CNN pays to promote and put him up and do all this shit, and he only gets like YouTube views, YouTube numbers anyway.
What the heck was that?
I don't know.
Matt playing video games?
Matt's playing video games.
So I'm assuming.
Oh, did you hear that? I think I just heard a gunshot outside.
I mean, you are in Colorado, so
Yeah, I'm right by the ghetto. I wouldn't say I'm in the ghetto. I'm ghetto adjacent. Like someone was talking about how close the range is to their house. Like, oh, I only got to drive like 2 miles to get to the range. And I'm like, dude, there's a drive-by range at the end of the street.
at least it's at the end of the street.
So far, it hasn't come up the street yet.
That they haven't turned that direction.
Well, the street I live on is a dead end. And then behind that's a school. So I think we're good. What are those butt dimples? What is that? I like those. If the chick has butt dimples, I'm into it.
What are you talking about?
Butt dimples, you don't know?
Oh, those. Okay.
Yeah. Like, what are you talking about?
No, I'm not. I'm editing some video from my match today. So I'm not.
What's editing?
I'm putting 10 stages together.
Oh, did you hear that one?
Yeah, I did.
Maybe it's fireworks? I don't know. You hear a bunch of sirens in a minute. It wasn't fireworks. Bro, there ain't shit going on right now. I don't know. There's plenty going on, though, when you think about what they're doing to come for our rights and for us. And frankly, I don't really know what to do about it at this point. Like, I think standing up and having a voice is out, because if you stand up, you're a target. And if you have a voice, you're silenced. So those both don't really work anymore. You don't want to be the tall blade of grass sticking up when the lawnmower comes by. So there's that part of it going on, too. I don't know, man. We're in a tough spot. I don't know what to do. What do you guys think?
About what? I just get in here.
Like, as gun owners in this country, as people who believe in the Constitution and believe in our country, as it was anyway, and everything going on, what do you do to protect it? What do you do to ensure that it continues?
You run for elected office and win.
While ensuring your own continued prosperity. Because I've tried speaking out against it. That's a good one. You just make yourself a target, right? And then you get shadow banned on YouTube, and then they don't like you, and you don't get discovered by new people, and they stop recommending you to new people, and your channel never grows, and all that stuff, right? So that's part of it.
I mean, and really, yeah, you are in a tough spot. Well, we all in a tough spot, because, I mean, there's nothing you can really do about it, really.
There's not much you can do. It's, keep doing what you're doing, keep speaking out when you can, and be nice until it's time not to be nice.
Yeah, exactly.
But when is that time not to be nice? I mean, there's been plenty of times not to be nice, and we're still nice.
My version, and to not get Honda's chat here banned, is my version of being nice is very different from other people's version of being nice. So it's one of those things, kind of revert back to, I know Ray Ray's not here, but a Ray Ray rant in the past. That's my version of time not to be nice.
I was thinking about it. We need a Martin Luther King today for everybody, not just for gun owners, not just for whites or blacks or Hispanics or whoever. We need it for the Constitution. We need a Martin Luther King who's willing to stand up and unite people and do it non-violently and like do it in a way that can't be fucking refuted.
Well, all those are good qualities. I think the biggest problem is also finding someone that's not doing it for their own pocketbook. And that's going to be the hardest thing to find right now. Is because
they're very good at buying people off too, though, is the other thing. Like, you might even start off like ideologically you are the person we're looking for, right? But then they identify you and then they pay you off. Like Alex Jones was talking about this not too long ago, how there was some meeting that he had where they offered him like $100 million a year personally to just pay to him, and they'd take care of like everything else if he just, you know, like read from the lines that they give him every now and again kind of thing. But it always starts there. Then it's like, well, now you can't talk about this, this, and this. Oh, and since you can't talk about these things, this is what you should say instead. And then pretty soon you're fucking what's that late night host dude's name? Fucking who sucks.
Which one?
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You didn't narrow the field down.
Colbert. The Colbert
Okay.
Report.
Okay.
Dude, when he was Stephen Colbert, the Colbert Report, that was a funny fucking show because he was like,
yeah, when he
was pretending to be a Republican while making fun of everybody, you know, like making fun of the ridiculousness of the things that the Republicans were saying at that time, which I agree were a lot of them were like warmongering, ridiculous things to say that were just, you know, like programmed into people because they're really good at doing that. And yeah,
he was good when like the Daily Show back before Trevor Noah and stuff like, and granted even then like the Daily Show leaned left, but they could equally make fun of the left and the right because they could see like when the left would say something ridiculous and stupid, like they would make fun of it. And Stephen Colbert, when he was on that, like he played along with that, and then fucking what's his name left Daily Show, and then Trevor Noah came in, and then Stephen Colbert got his own late night, and they all just went to shit, and everyone just started towing whatever the corporate line was.
Yeah, Jon Stewart.
Yeah, Jon Stewart. I couldn't think of his name.
Did you see Jon Stewart when he came on the Colbert's late night show?
Oh my god, it was fucking great. It was great.
I mean, he was just saying the things that everyone's thinking that no one's allowed to say.
And you could see how uncomfortable Stephen Colbert was too.
Like he kept trying to shut him down, but he couldn't. Fucking
Well, he said straight up, he's like, whatever edited version of this gets shown. So like he admitted right there that they edit it to make their, you know, their shit look good.
Oh, Mr. Guns and Deals is back again.
Nice. You know what? And I say, was it Jimmy Fallon? He's not that bad. Not like on Jimmy Kimball's level. Kimball, like,
no,
Kimball
he's not. Yeah,
name?
he's not.
Yeah.
He's not as bad as them, but he's still bad. Like the problem with Jimmy Fallon is,
but no.
Like my ex used to watch him every night, and I'm like, how can you watch this? First off, he's not funny. Like I've never watched Jimmy Fallon and laughed, and I got stuck watching it for several years. Like he's just not humorous, and then he does toe the line just as much, but not to the same. He doesn't ram it down everyone's throat, but he will come out and toe the line.
Right.
So he's bad still, but I agree with you. He's not as bad as the rest, but he's nowhere near good or fair.
Right. I know he came out and said, how come he wasn't doing a lot of Trump jokes on this show? And it was like, well, because this is, it's been done. I mean, I'm not going to do it every night. So that's why I kind of like him a little bit too, man. Right.
Yeah, I mean, there's no point, because to his point too, like it gets old after a while, especially when it's the same joke that the last 3 late night hosts shared that wasn't funny to begin with. You're like, oh,
exactly.
Okay.
Right. And plus, he does like good impressions. That's what I kind of like out of him.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially with his singing and stuff like those. I mean, like his jokes, Yeah, I'm not too fond of it, but I do like his impressions. So like him and Conan were probably like the only two, and Conan's about to retire.
I was about to say Conan just retired, didn't he? Or he is retiring?
Yeah, I think he's about to. So
I think all of them need to freaking retire.
I like that Scottish dude. What's his name? You'd have the skeleton on.
Was it Craig Ferguson?
Craig Ferguson.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. But he hasn't been on for years.
I want to get some funny people for like. I want to get like a Bill Burr hosting a late night, or like a Daniel Tosh. Like, like that's who we need. Now, granted, I understand because you're Susie Homemaker that's watching it while she, pops a whatever pill, a Prozac, and drinks her finishes off her bag of wine so she can wake up the next day and deal with her kids that she never wanted. Like, I get that she's probably not going to want to watch that as late night, but I don't care about her.
Colostomy bag dropped in $5. Thank you very much. So just tuned in, kind of unhappy there was no late night last night. Still love you, though. Well, thank you. Sorry. Honestly, what happened, here's what happened. Thursday night, I'm working, and my boss comes to me and says, hey, do you want to have Friday off? And I was like, you mean like tomorrow? And she was like, yeah. And I'm like, hell yes, I want tomorrow off. So then I got it in my head that I wasn't working on Friday. And then a couple hours later, she came back to me and she was like, actually, we need you to work tomorrow. Sorry about that. So I was like, God damn it. Okay. And then she's like, well, let me see if I can get Saturday off for you, though. Since I told you that, like, maybe I can get Saturday morning off instead. And I'm like, that would be cool. Then I could sleep in and, well, Saturday comes and no one called me and I checked the schedule and I'm still on it. So I showed up to work and I had to work for like 6 or 7 hours when I was really fucking tired. And I finally got home and my whole body hurt and my brain wasn't working, and it's still not, is really the issue here. And, I was just fucked up last night. I was in no condition to be like entertaining to anybody. So,
and my dumb ass decided to take a nap during the day to make sure I could stay up for the entire chat, and pounded 2 energy drinks. And I'm sitting here in my bed at 2:30 in the morning, like, really wish Honda had his chat.
Sorry about that. I feel like a dick now.
When I got home, I checked the Discord and I see that Honda was gaming on the Discord. Right, well, that's what my messages saw, and I saw no live chat. So I was like, all right, guess Honda's taking a night off.
I mean, sometimes you just need to let your brain do nothing. Last night, my brain needed to do nothing.
And that's what I've basically had my brain do all weekend. Just been lazy.
Well, it's so difficult too, going from, hey, I didn't have a job for all that time because everyone got laid off, and I can just do whatever I want and sleep as much as I want, and so oh, now you're back in it 100%. Just keep going like nothing happened. Like, oh god, that was a rough transition.
Yeah,
it's still kind of rough. I don't think I've made it back 100%. I did buy some like an ab roller. You know what that is?
Yeah.
Yep.
And I bought a 35-pound and 25-pound dumbbell so I can just do some shit while I'm sitting here, other than get fatter. But anyway, did you guys hear about the new COVID variant that ignores whether you had the vaccine or not?
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, they've been blasting it all over mainstream media for the last month and a half now.
You think another shutdown's coming?
No.
Is this in the U.S. or U.K. or India? Oh, is this variant here? Look.
It's every country again, because we all know what's causing it. I'm not going to say it on air, though. I'll say it off air.
Here's the thing. Unless they start reporting for whatever reason again that everyone's dying. If you leave your house, you're going to die. Unless they start doing that, I don't think so. Only because now so many people are starting to get back to a semblance of life, and they're starting to go out again. I feel if they did it again, people would be like, no, fuck you.
Yeah, no, nobody's going to accept it. It's not going to happen.
That's the thing.
There's too many people that are like, no, we're not doing this shit again. Even people who aren't, I'm not going to get the vaccine, all the shit, whatever else. Even regular people are like, no, fuck no. Like people,
Yeah.
like hardcore liberals in California are gonna be like, fuck no. I
Yeah,
don't
like
think
people
so.
are just starting to go out to like restaurants and bars and stuff like that again. Not to the levels that they were, but they are starting to slowly, and like movies and shit. Like people aren't going to stand for that if it happens again. They're going to be like, no, we just got this back. You're not taking my toy away again.
What percentage of the population is like flat, dead ass broke right now? What do you think?
Define broke. Broke as American broke.
Like,
or broke
like
as
McDonald's
broke?
would be a luxury right now.
Shit, McDonald's is a luxury right now.
I'd say probably a quarter of Americans at this point, at least that much.
No, it's a lot less than that.
Man, now has anybody been at McDonald's lately? You see the prices? Well, I know where I'm at. God damn.
Well, dude, everything's getting expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you go out to eat at a nice restaurant, not even like 5-star or anything, just like a nice sit down restaurant where you can get a drink and get food and stuff, you're looking at $20 a plate and
Yeah.
$8-10 a drink.
No, you could probably. Oh yeah, about $20 a plate, and then of course 5 to 8 for a beer. So yeah,
So yeah, I mean, you go out with
$60
three of your buddies, right? 4 people get a beer each and like a burger each or whatever. That's
Yeah,
$100 fucking dollars now.
Yeah.
Oh no, probably more than that. With
Plus
beers
tip.
and stuff. Yeah.
Right, I was like, plus the tip.
Tip? What is tip?
Oh, there's a lot of those people out there too, man. That's fucking frustrating. Like I'm running my ass off, sweating my ass off. Oh, check this out too. I'm tired of
My
sweating.
tips have gone up considerably during this time.
So,
Oh my
Nice.
god.
I'm tired of sweating at work. So I bought this thing.
Oh yeah, it blows air up underneath your shirt.
Yeah, you
Really?
clip it on your belt. It's got a clip on the other side too, I guess.
Yeah.
So you can like clip it on the top of your shirt and have it blow down, or clip it on your belt and have it blow up.
Yep.
And then it keeps you cool.
Yeah,
Battery powered.
It just pulls in ambient air.
So you clip it on your
Supposedly
belt and it
32
blows.
Hours. What's that?
You clip it on your belt and it blows. Is that
It
what you're
blows
saying?
you while you work.
At 3 different speeds.
So hopefully I get this before I have to go to work again.
No, it's not 3 different speeds. It's 3 different pleasure settings.
It does just the tip, work the shaft, and then whole hog.
Balls included.
I mean, why wouldn't you just go whole hog?
Well, sometimes you just want to start slow. You know what I'm saying? Make a night of it.
Sometimes the build-up's fun.
Oh, Mr. Guns and Deals. A Streamlight rail mount.
Like I have never bought anything from his links. Like he posts something and I go to his Facebook page and I can't freaking find the damn thing. It just said that it was just posted.
Oh, Honda, and to remind you, before you end the chat, you have to tell your story on how to eat cereal.
Oh, I didn't tell that. I just told you that privately. Hey.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a philosophy on 2 things: French fries and cereal.
Chat weigh in on this.
For French fries, you get your basket of French fries, right? You stick your finger into the middle of the French fries and make a hole all the way down to the bottom of the basket, and then you fill it up with ketchup. Works out every
No.
time.
No.
Yes. No, I'm telling you, you haven't done it right if you haven't done it.
No, I would use barbecue sauce.
Okay, so put barbecue,
Yeah.
whatever sauce you like, but that distributes it amongst the French fries fairly evenly with minimal effort. Bowl of cereal. Here's what most people do. You get a giant bowl of cereal, and then you put a bunch of milk in it, and then you go sit down and eat it. By the time you're done, the milk is warm, the cereal is soggy, and it's gross. Right? There's a magical period of time when eating the cereal is right, and that's about 30 seconds after you put it in the milk. When it's not like fresh crunchy and it's not soggy yet, and it's like right in the middle. So that's like what you're looking for. So what you do is small batches. You put milk in the bowl with 1 ice cube to keep the milk ice cold without watering it down. And then you pour a little bit of cereal in at a time, mix it in with the milk and eat it. A little bit more cereal, mix it in and eat it until you're done. And then that's it.
No. No.
I'm going to try it next time I buy cereal. Though,
I don't got time
see.
for that. I just eat my cereal and I pour myself a glass of milk and I drink it on the side.
Whenever I eat cereal, I eat it dry.
Yep.
That's weird.
No milk, no. Yeah.
I think do you sleep with your socks on too, like a psychopath?
Oh, hell no. No.
I do sleep with my socks on.
Well, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
There's actually a theory behind that because it keeps your feet warm, so it triggers your body to cool itself down. Like I saw something online about that, but
See, I like to sleep like nice and warm under the covers in a freezing room, so that I can stick my feet out into the freezing room, and then my feet are ice cold, and then my body's like temperature is regulated.
no, you don't stick your feet out. That's how the aliens get you. Little alien hand comes up, grabs your feet.
Louisiana governor vetoes constitutional carry. That's fucked up.
Yeah, it's because John Bel Edwards is a piece of shit. But thankfully, Louisiana, both their House and their Senate, have a veto-proof override.
Isn't that usually like 75% or something like that?
It's like 60 in most states, and I think... Well, the thing was with Louisiana, I know it was Democrats and Republicans both came together and were like, fuck this guy. This is veto-proof. So hopefully it'll be 22.
22 states now. See, it's weird how like free most of Colorado is and how not free Denver is. Like most of Colorado, you can have an AR-15. Denver County, you cannot. Most of Colorado, you can open carry a gun. Denver County, you cannot. There's a few other things, but those are the main ones. Those are the big ones.
Just like Cook County here.
Every time I hear Cook County, I think of the Blues Brothers, and they got to make it to the Cook County.
Oh, okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Yep, I did the same thing. The Cook County Assessor's Office? We're on a mission from God.
Or as we call it, Crook County.
Dude, there's so many restaurants and shit that have gone under that are never coming back.
Mm-hmm.
So many small businesses, too. Like, I was looking at a statistic. It's like half the economy pre-COVID, like 50% of the wealth in this country was the result of small business, and they shut down like 90% of them.
From what I heard, is like 30 or 35% of small businesses is gone because of COVID.
And then the other thing that happened is a lot of the people, like older people who were maybe closer to retirement but not quite ready to do it yet, like COVID happened, they're just like, fuck it, I'm retired now.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's all the businesses that's been set on fire during the summer.
And as a result of that, like, how much more does it cost to have a business now? Like, oh, well, when at any time your business can be caught on fire by protesters, how much is your insurance cost?
I'm guessing that would depend on where the business is.
Well, so then now you have these underserved areas, and it's racist, right? Because you have this area where there's no grocery stores because they all closed down because everyone stole from them and burned them until they were like, right, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guarantee if I wanted to open up whatever's wigs and weaves, I'm sure I could get a business loan for it as long as I have a Juneteenth party.
It still wouldn't matter. They'll still tear your stuff up. Wouldn't even matter. Just like even businesses downtowns in all the major cities are having problems with crime, so there's nobody wanting to go downtown.
Fuck Jim Acosta. He's a piece of shit. Like, he's a pretty good example of, like, a corporate media whore who will whore himself out anytime that the people who pay for the whores to do things ask the whore to do anything at all. That whore will do it. I can't think of a better word. Sorry.
Slatson.
Oh, Mr. Guns and Deals. I gotta call it out every time.
Yeah, there was a place here in Ohio when everything happened. They were, I think it's either second or third generation restaurant. It was like 30 years that they had been going, and they completely shut down now, and they're never coming back.
Where's Edinburgh, Matt?
Edinburgh, Texas?
Yeah.
About 45 minutes away from me. Why?
This guy says, just finished an interview with local Texan Robert Sanchez in Edinburgh. Robert shared that a rental property of his was being used as a stash house for migrants by Mexican cartels. Full interview posted.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
Dude, I wish fucking goddamn classic firearms would stop sitting on their hands and send me my shit.
They still haven't sent it out?
Nope.
It's literally been a week. It's now been 7 days.
7 days. Well, I mean, in about 3 hours of it, it's been 7 days since I hit the button and paid for it. I'm getting a Makarov, by the way, if y'all don't know. Why? Because they are not going to be any cheaper than they are right now at any point. I think it's a gun that's going to go nothing but up in value. At some point, you're going to see $1,000 Makarovs that are just like the Bulgarian fucking shit ones for $1,000. But I might be wrong. It's a gamble. Shit, there's like nothing going on. Usually there's like videos and people burning stuff and rioting and crazy shit. Today it's like, oh, there's a new vaping ordinance. Oh, this is a picture of the mountains. Oh, here's some chicks that are standing on a podium. Oh, what's this about? Oh, that American chick who was turning her back on the American flag as she's on the podium. Did you guys hear about that?
No, I didn't hear about that.
Olympic hammer thrower Gwen Berry turns back on U.S. flag during national anthem and says it was disrespectful and a setup to play the song while she took bronze at trials. A setup?
Yeah, it's disrespectful on America for her to be a cunt like that.
I mean, you're representing the country.
Yeah,
for the Olympics. What do you think you were supposed to do? Like, Jesus.
I say take her medal and give it to fourth place and send her ass back home. Like, I guess we didn't get the bronze this year. Sorry, America.
Well, she came in third anyway, so whoever first and second is, hopefully they'll get it.
What do you guys think about this whole McAfee thing?
I would say, for the record, he committed suicide. There's no foul play in it whatsoever. And that's all I got to say.
Now, you know what I think? I think he knew exactly what he was doing. I think he just fucking pulled the world's largest troll. I think that's why he went out of his way to get a fucking tattoo that says whacked and fucking say he would never kill himself. And then he was in prison and knew he was going to spend the rest of his life in prison because he was 75 years old. He knew he was going to get fucking extradited to the U.S. and he's like, fuck it, why not? Let everybody fucking do conspiracy theories. He didn't give a fuck anymore. He wasn't going to live outside of a jail cell for the rest of his life. So he didn't give a fuck. He's 75. He probably killed himself and knew what he was doing.
I don't know. Like, if it was in America, you would have expected some sort of an autopsy release and a cause of death and all this other stuff. As far as I understand, they just basically said that it was suicide without saying how, without releasing an autopsy, no photos, no nothing. Just fuck off, it was suicide. So that's kind of weird. But maybe it's just that's how it works in Spain.
I have a feeling Spanish police are not the most non-corruptible, if that makes sense. Like, I have a buddy that was over there. This is back probably like 2014, 2013, somewhere around there. And he said he watched, like, the police literally beat a drunk guy almost to death for just being drunk in public.
You know what? McAfee over the years has talked about enough conspiratorial things. Like, he's been on shows that I've watched. He's talked about stuff, and I can't remember specifically because I haven't followed him intently or anything like that. But I do remember him coming up, and I do remember him talking about things and thinking, like, damn, like, this guy knows what he's talking about, at least from my perspective, right? So the prospect of him being Epsteined, I don't know. I don't discount it. I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I am saying that it certainly can happen, can it? I mean, does anyone believe that Epstein killed himself? And
yes,
I think
I
Epstein
do.
had a lot more reason to kill himself in prison than fucking McAfee did. Because McAfee was basically facing like tax evasion charges, right? So as long as you're able to give them money, like, that's what they want. Like, they just wanted money. Or was there something else that I don't know, that I'm not sure about, that I don't know about?
Probably wanted to set like an example of them.
Or you just get the jab, and then this will happen. The Danish official who got the fucking vaccine, and then they were doing a press conference, like, I don't know if it was part of it or just like a little bit later, and she fucking passed out.
God damn.
So I am kind of upset about just looking at a military person. This reminded me of that general talking about learning about white rage so that they can understand it, because really what he's saying is, I am a warrior. The people who have white rage are about to be my enemy and the target of my bombs and bullets. Therefore, we should do what we can to understand them better so that we can target them better. That's what he was basically saying, in my opinion. But
yeah, because that's the problem going on.
Well, they've been purging the military of people who have any kind of anything on their social media that has anything to do with, Trump or being on the right or like libertarianism or freedom or Second Amendment or any of that stuff. They're like, oh, well, you're obviously a white supremacist and you need to get out of our military.
Right. So we can replace you with all the trans and people who just want to get the surgeries.
I don't know, man. Shit's fucking crazy. I know that we're going to be dealing with some crazy stuff coming up, and I've been kind of preparing. So I've got food covered for what I can cover it for, right? Like you always need more, but I've got pretty much the pantry's stocked, the freezer's full. Like, I can't really fit much more. I've got a little bit of medical supplies, a little bit of alcohol and Band-Aids and stuff, but I need more there. I need, like, massive trauma kit kind of thing. You need water, right? I've got some water, but you always need more. You need some way to cook food and heat your house. I've got some propane tanks. That's good to have, but again, not enough. What do you guys think that people should be getting ready for and buying so that they have in case they need it?
Well, I know water is first off you need to store. Preferably it's something more glass than plastic because then it lasts longer. So you won't get all that plastically taste infused with the water and shit. And
well, I mean, the other thing is like guns and ammo, which again, like I've been working on that one for years. I'm not new to that game, but a lot of people out there, like these are things that I would say to people, but I'm sure that there's other things that I need.
Right.
You know?
I think guns and ammo is probably the last thing on the checklist, really.
Well, I think a gun and some ammo should be first. Lots of guns and lots of ammo, you're right, should be last.
All right. I mean, because you're not going to get into any sustained firefights often. Or at least I hope not. Man, shit. There's not going to be any doctors around when you need them. So, right, just having a gun and ammo, basically, but just for protection.
Well, shit, I had a Maverick 88 as my only gun for a really long time. Like 10 years, that was my only gun. And I never felt underprotected when I was looking at my Maverick. I mean, sometimes,
right.
you know, like handgun, okay, I get it. Maybe a handgun would have been nice to have too, because then you could have it in the car with you or when you're out and about. But as far as being in the house, dude, like it was fine with a shotgun. Not a problem. People are saying vape juice, toilet paper, personal lubricant. Yeah, I mean, honestly, the shotgun's not a bad idea. If you don't have a gun, I think a gun to get is probably a shotgun. If you're just going to have one, I'd say a handgun's best. But for home defense, a shotgun's fucking pretty goddamn good. Just again, you can't take it with you everywhere.
Right. Let's say, well, after water, then food, then probably medical supplies. A bunch of it, especially some for to help fight infections.
They see me rolling, says a woman, a wife. That's gonna, slow down your preps really, because you're gonna be like, I want the shiny thing to put on the wall. How much did that cost? $100. That's all. Fuck me.
And tools.
Tools is a good
tools
one.
coming, yeah. Because you're gonna need to start building some barriers or something.
Is somebody drag racing?
It's always somebody drag racing. I saw it twice. I saw 2 trucks today going at it. 2 pickup trucks.
Like last night when I got home, I left the dome light in my car on. And today when I got in the car and was driving to the store, it like barely started at first. Like it had to like recharge the battery a little bit. And it was fine after I started it. But I was thinking a jumper pack wouldn't be a bad idea. But then they have those the jumper packs that kind of back up as a generator. Like it's just a battery, but it serves as a alternating, like a full generator. You can run shit off of it. Like that would be kind of a neat little thing. But then it's like that doesn't really power very much, does it? Like you can maybe do your freezer or your refrigerator off of it. So maybe just a generator, period. I don't know. What do you guys think? Is it worth it to have a generator in a 1-bedroom apartment?
Huh.
I would say probably not. Because especially if things go super bad, you'd want to flee that area anyway.
I'm just thinking about how they live before generators. Like, you have to do that.
Well, I mean, living in an apartment complex without power is a bad idea. I mean, if it gets too cold, everyone's pipes are frozen, and then shit's fucked.
Right.
If it gets hot outside, it gets really hot on the third floor, and really, really hot on the fifth floor. Like the higher up you get, the hotter it is.
Right. I mean, if things get that bad, like you won't be in the apartment anyway, right? You'll be with your family inside of some house somewhere anyway.
Yeah, I keep having this vision of like me showing up to my brother's house with my car like packed full of guns and food,
Right.
and just being like, "Haha, told you so, bitch."
Right. Because you're gonna need friends and family anyway, so that's something you can't avoid. Because y'all have to get together and form a little small, like a little small militia. All right.
Yeah, I could arm.
Yeah, because the numbers matter.
I could arm a serious number of people. A number of people that it would be hard to deal with.
Exactly. I think that's the only way you got to pull through it. Can't loan with it like the movies.
Yeah, we were talking about that before. How many people could you arm with a long gun and a handgun? I think I got about 8. And Matt was like 25. Like, fuck you, dude.
Are we including ourselves?
Yeah, I mean, you count as a person.
Yankee would be like everybody in Washington.
Would you include if someone was to possess a braced pistol? Would you consider that a long gun?
Sure.
Okay.
Whatever you need it to be.
Well, I know 2 people in my family that have long guns. Everybody else has pistols.
I think 8 for me. I think.
What are we talking? Long guns?
No, how many people could you arm with a long gun?
A long gun and a sidearm.
Yeah, we talked about the other day. I think I can do like 25 or 26 or something.
I'm coming up on 9. As soon as I get this handgun, I'll be at 9.
Yeah, I'm at 8 or 9 myself.
I don't know. I need more handguns, I think. They're a lot easier to store than a long gun is. Takes up a lot less space.
All right.
It's amazing that a little handgun can cost as much as a big ass like long gun, though. Like obviously, like there's reasons for that, but just materials wise, I don't know. I kind of want to get like a 50 BMG upper for a AR-15 lower, just to have one. But there's nothing cheap out there. There used to be able to get, I forget what brand it was or whatever. But it was like $800 or $900, something like that, and you can get a 50 BMG upper. And now, like the cheapest one I've found is like 16 or 1700.
Wasn't it like the one like the Mighty Griffins, something like that? It was just a 50, something like a 50 BMG kit. I think it was like the Mighty Griffins or something like that.
Oh, there's a couple companies that make them. There's not just 1 or 2. There's like several.
I think that was the cheapest, if I can remember right.
I don't know, man. We're not going anyplace good, though. I'll tell you that right now. I hope you guys are everybody out there has at least some of the shit that they think they need, and you've identified one or two things that you're working on getting right now, because I think the lights are going out sooner or later. The fucking stores are going to be empty. The bad people are going to be prowling.
everywhere.
And if you're not set up in a spot and you don't have protection, you're going to be vulnerable. So, yeah, man. I hope everybody out there is getting ready for it. But this has been the Gay Frog Chat, and we'll be going an hour and a half, which is about how far we normally go. Don't want to go too far because that's how you get rated by the ATF. Just kidding. Anyway, thanks for showing up, everybody. Hope you all have a wonderful evening, and suck it, YouTube.